Oh, happy haze.
Hello, readers. Mrs. Hayes here. I'm so excited to teach you all about the chunk ED today. So the chunk ED can be found at the end of lots of words. So you're going to see this chunk whenever a verb is turned into past tense. So if something happens right now, I jump. It's happening right now. But if I already did it, I would change that word to jumped, right? And I'd put the ED at the end. The trickiest part about this ED is that it can have 3 different sounds. Silly ED. Say silly ED, I know. So the 3 different sounds that this ED can make are, crazy enough, a T sound. It also might make a D sound, or it actually might say the ed, and it kind of sounds like id when you actually pronounce it at the end of a word, id. So when we're trying to identify which one to use, if we see it at the end of a word, you probably need some strategies, right? You don't just want to sit there looking at the ed and not knowing what to do. So here are my tips and tricks for what to do when you see the chunk ed. So first, you're wondering, when would it have a T sound at the end? Well, it's these letters that are called voiceless. And you might say, Mrs. Hayes, what's a voiceless consonant? I'm so glad you asked. A voiceless consonant means that you aren't actually making any sound when you make the letter. You're just blowing air through your mouth. Let me say that again. You're not actually making a sound with your vocal cords. You're just blowing air through. Listen. And then all the friends of H, right? Did you notice how I didn't actually make any sounds with my vocal cords? So if you hear, as you're reading a word, that there is no sound coming out with that last consonant, and it's just a voiceless consonant, and you're pushing air through your mouth, then you'll know this ed is a T. You should say the ed as a T. Let me give you some examples. All right, so if I'm coming to these words, I would sound it out. Get ready. And then I see the ed. So I'd think to myself, huff. Okay, the root word is huff, right? If I huff, now I'm gonna listen to that last consonant. Did I make a sound? No, I just blew air through. So I will know huff, and I pronounce the ed as a T. Let's try the next one. Blink, blink, right? Now I'm looking at the last consonant. Did I actually make a sound? I'm just blowing out air. Blink, and I know the ed is pronounced like a T. Next one. Map, map. So I map out where I'm going today. Map. Okay, let's look at the last consonant. I'm just blowing out air. Mapped, mapped. Last one. Sound it out. Get ready. Ix, mix. Can you mix it up? Mix it up. As I say, it's supposed to mix it up. And I'm gonna look at that last consonant. X, x. I'm just blowing out air. I didn't actually make any sound in my vocal cords. Mixed. Do you see how? If all of these last consonants are voiceless, they don't have any sound, you're just blowing out air, pronounce that ed as a T. So when would it make the D sound? Good question. These are the voiced consonants. Say, Mrs. Hayes, what's a voiced consonant? I'm so glad you asked. A voiced consonant is where you're actually making a sound in your vocal cords. So listen to these sounds. Ready? B, g, j, o, r, v, w, y, z. Did you see how I actually had to make a sound that time? I'm not just pushing air through. I'm actually having to make a sound. This is when you would look at that last consonant and say, oh, I had to make a sound. So then you'll know you should pronounce it as a D Something you'll notice about all these is that they have a double consonant. So we'll get to double consonants soon enough when we start doing some spelling, but right now let's focus on being able to read these words. So sound it out. Get ready. Grab. Grab. Grab something. Okay, now I look at the last one. B. I had to make a sound, so I'm going to say grabbed. And my ED says D. Keep going. Sound it out. Get ready. Ill. Fill. I fill my cup. Fill. I hear the sound in my throat, so I need to say D. Filled. It sounds like a D. Sound it out. Get ready. In. Pin. You pin something. And I hear N. I had to make a sound. Pinned. So I know it's a D. And sound it out. Get ready. Buzz. 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 I had to make a sound. Buzzed. Buzzed. So do you see? If you actually make a sound at that last consonant, you'll make a D sound. Last one. One more sound that the ED might make. I know, this ED is so tricky. That's why I had to make a whole video about it. So the last part is the id. I know, you would think it would be ed, but it actually sounds like id. And this is when there is a D or a T at the end of that root word. Okay, so if there's a D is that last consonant before the ED, or if there's a T as the last consonant before the ED, it's going to be pronounced as id. You want to see some examples? So for these, you'll see right before the ED, there's a D or a T. And those tell you it can be pronounced as id. Sound it out. Get ready. Und. Fund. So I know that the D is telling me to pronounce the ED as id. Funded. Funded. Sound it out. Get ready. Grr. OU is a whiner. Ow. Sound it out. Get ready. Grr. Ound. Ground. Ground. And I see the D, so I know this is like an ID. Grounded. Grounded. Oh, please don't get grounded. Please don't get grounded. All right, last one. Sound it out. Get ready. Spot. Spot. And I see the T before the ED, so I know that this ED is going to be pronounced as id. Spot. Id. Spotted. I spotted a deer in the woods. Spotted. So whenever you spot that tricky ED at the end of a word, I want you to think voiceless, voiced, or D or T. Let's say that again. Is that last consonant voiceless? I'm just pushing air through. Is it voiced, where I'm making a sound? Or is it a D or T? And that will tell you either t, d, or id. And before I leave you, I have 2 shout outs. The first one is to Reading Horizons on Teachers Pay Teachers. They have an awesome 3 sounds of ED poster that you can go buy for $1.50 if you are interested. The last shout out is to the amazing mama who emailed me and asked about this ED. Her daughter wanted to learn a bit more about it and was getting a little tricked by it. So please, 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 if you ever have any questions in a particular area, go to mrsrachelhayes.com, and at the bottom of the page you'll see contact me, and you can ask me anything, and I'd be happy to make videos that are going to directly impact you and help you with that, whatever you're working on. So please reach out and I'll be happy to help. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.